It's time to purchase a new Adidas sneaker. Hello YouTube and welcome to the site. Today we will be talking about these Stan Smiths that I kept in the trunk of my car for a year. But more importantly, these are very symbolic and I have a story to tell you about Stan Smiths, so we will be doing that today. Also, I promise this lines up. Today is my 3-year anniversary with Taylor. Taylor and I basically have a standing appointment to hang out every single weekend, and we have for basically 3 years straight. And on Thursday, she dropped a curveball and said, "Hey, I'm going to buy pants in Soho with my friend Sasha. You have something to do on Saturday, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I figured you and I could go get a pair of shoes. And I told Taylor, I was like, "Yeah, I have a friend to hang out with too. I'm going to hang out with Stan." She was like, "Stan? Do I know Stan?" And I was like, well, you've been around him a lot. He's been in the trunk of my car for a year. But today is a story. And Taylor stiffed me. "Dear Taylor, you suck all the negativity out of my life." Today I am wearing Reebok Club C85 shoes, and I'm really getting into shoes, and I made a video a few videos ago saying that I was becoming a minimalist. That is still the plan. I know it may seem odd, but I have a plan. It's a really simple plan. Obviously right now this channel is all about reviewing stuff, so I can't just not have stuff or I don't know what to post. Although, as it gets warmer, I want to do regular vlogs. I cut this out of every single vlog that I do, but I say it every single vlog. What would the thoughts be if I just did a vlog on, like, New York City and not about clothes? Would you all hate that and unsubscribe? Anyways, today I'm wearing Reebok Club C85s, a lovely shoe. Compared to the Stan Smiths though, they are an okay shoe, because the Stan Smiths are the greatest white sneaker of all time. And they are very, as I said, they're very symbolic, and they helped me become who I am. Okay, so quick intro to the story. I consider there to be two very distinct parts of my life. BS, before Stan Smith, and AS, after Stan Smith. My life didn't change because I got the shoes. My life was changing when I got the shoes for a very specific reason. But I need to go because Taylor and we do have a dinner date today at 6:30, and it's 1:37. So I should really get to cracking. During the BS stage of my life, I was very happy-go-lucky, but like too happy-go-lucky, like kind of crazy happy-go-lucky.
Hey, what is up guys? It is Mike, and okay,
super nerdy, but at the same time, like super oblivious to the world and like ignored it. So this story involves people. It's all in the past. It doesn't matter. Everything's good. We were very young. And it's all okay. So, during the stage of my life, I dressed in Yu-Gi-Oh! Graphic t-shirts in general, but that's the period of my life. The best way to say this is I didn't have an identity yet, at all. I just kind of followed things. I didn't like think about who I was or how I presented myself or anything like that. That's what I'm trying to say.
our generation is going to be one of the coolest generations ever.
And while I was this gelatinous blob still, I got into my first relationship, my first real relationship. And when you're in a relationship and you're still a gelatinous blob, you think, this is probably gonna be the person that I marry. To be fair, the other person is also a gelatinous blob. So really, your relationship is just based off of what you've seen on TV, and you're not really thinking about it too much. So it's a bit odd. The relationship's going great, everything's going according to plan. We're planning our wedding date, everyone's super excited. I'm starting to find out that I like theater and improv, and we are having a ton of fun together. And we're having so much fun together that the person I'm dating decides it would be probably even more fun if they dated someone else on the side and didn't tell me. So I was a little pathetic. I didn't really know what to do. I wanted to stay together. I was like, we could fix this, was that. Now, if that ever happens, it's kind of game over. But at the time, I had no idea. So what was interesting is that that relationship was a pretty long relationship, and it kind of kept me as a little blob in a box. And I didn't change at all, and I didn't like look up or anything. I just stayed my little blobby wobbly self until that event happened. And it took a little bit, but it did happen. I was walking with my camera and this guy said, "Take a picture of my trunk." And I was like, I don't really want to do that. He was like, "No, take a picture." And I looked in the trunk, it's just a single baseball cap. So the situation itself just kind of sucked in general. I found out in probably the most public setting you could and met the person as I found out. So that sucked. But what was weird is that at the time, I never really like looked at anything I was wearing. And like a few months after that happened, I looked like in the metaphorical mirror and was like, oh, I think I need new shoes. Like now. So I went to Savers, a thrift shop, and I found a pair of Stan Smiths. They didn't look like this at the time. They look like basically someone bought them and then scraped them somehow and then immediately donated them. So I got them for $7, and that was the first time I ever made a really conscious decision of I want these shoes because they are white tennis sneakers and I think they'll go well with a lot of my outfits. And that marked really the first time that I started just to think, I don't know what I started to think. I guess more autonomously, like for myself. And at the time, my fashion changed from like the graphic tees and cargo shorts and shoes tied too tight to like perfectly fitted, trendy stuff. I feel like that's the cycle you go in. You don't think about how you dress, then you go exactly trends, and then you start to branch out and do what you like. And I lost that kind of like hunky-dory, everything's amazing, G. Willikers. And at that time, I feel like I just became like an actual person with thoughts. Okay, so I got the Stan Smiths, the new ones, but I am running it very close to when I have to meet Taylor. Are you a lace to the top type person, or are you a leave the top eyelid open? It wasn't a good thing to happen, but I do think it was the catalyst to a lot of things happening. So I don't know, maybe it was a good thing to happen? Who's to really say? At the end of the day, it's been so long and all that, I really could absolutely care less now. And if someone said if you can go back in time and not have that happen, I would say nope, I'm too happy right now to risk that changing anything, because I think if that didn't happen, I would have confused happiness or fulfillment with contentment. And that's not something I want to do, because after that incident, I didn't like boyfriend, girlfriend, date anyone for a while, but I did date a lot of people in the meantime and met a lot of people and found out, like, which I believe everybody finds out after you date the first person, you're like, oh, this isn't, my old relationship was way different than this one, and my next one was way different than those two, and you kind of slowly begin to shape what you want in a relationship, and you see that the first person you've been with, or the second or the third, isn't how every relationship is, and you learn a lot more. So I think either way, BS Michael would not exist. I think something would have come along and taken the globby blobby me that's whistling and singing down the street and shaped them more to have an identity. It just so happened to be this. And I think it's probably the thing that has shaped me the most. Besides, there's a few other things, but I think this is probably the biggest thing where I was like, okay, that's how life works. But also, obviously, I've made a ton of mistakes while dating. I wasn't the best person that I could have been a lot of the times. And I think that's just kind of how it goes. You learn from both sides of the coin and then get happier and meet someone and keep meeting people. And then you find someone that kind of checks all the boxes and you hope it works out.
Put you two in the same room. I know. Michael!
Happy anniversary!